Yeah, we back. We back. Now, let me find out that Dr. Umar Johnson is subscribed to the channel. Let me find out that Dr. Umar Johnson is subscribed to the channel. Now, Dr. Umar Johnson has heard some of the criticism that he received because a few days ago I dropped a video entitled Dr. Umar Johnson speaks on the Israel-Palestine conflict. And I was speaking on the statement that Dr. Umar Johnson had put out regarding the entire, situation in the Middle East, right? And Umar basically said, listen, we got enough of our own issues, man. Y'all so passionate. Y'all riding for the Arabs, but you ain't even riding for your own people with the same energy and passion. And he was talking to the black community, right? And as you already know, on that subject right there, I agree with Dr. Umar Johnson 100%. And I'm assuming that Dr. Umar Johnson had seen some of the backlash that he received on social media, right? Because as you already know, a lot of folks want to hold hands with the Arabs, so they took offense to what Dr. Umar Johnson had said. They were like, how dare you not stand with the Arabs? How dare you not stand with our Arab brothers, our Arab family members, our Arab cousins in the Middle East? And Dr. Umar Johnson had said, man, get out of here with that, man. Get out of here with that. So I'm going to play a clip from what Dr. Umar Johnson had said, responding to the haters. You know what I'm saying? Responding to the haters. And I'm going to come back with my commentary. Let's get into it. Run the footage.
First of all y'all who got a problem with me because I said I'm focused on black people's problems, well, guess what? You could stay mad. I'm focused on black people's problems. Last time I checked, I was the creator of Unapologetically African. That's my concept. That's my movement that y'all done ran with, talking about you unapologetically African, but you afraid to say that you worried about your people's problems. Ain't nobody helping us. You got 27 million Africans in the Congo, displaced, environmental issues, hunger, poor health care. You got 1 million Ethiopians who've been murdered. You got Sudanese who have died. Ain't nobody said nothing about the Sudanese. Ain't nobody said nothing about the Ethiopians. Ain't nobody said nothing about the Congolese. But you want me to cry tears for the Arabs? No violence. But if you think I'm going to take time out of struggling for African people, if you think I'm going to stop my agenda to liberate my people to go cry for people who don't cry for me, if you think I'm going to stop what I'm doing and pay attention to what's going on over there when y'all don't even pay attention to what's going on in Africa, y'all don't pay attention to what's going on in Ethiopia, y'all don't pay attention to what's going on in the Congo. The greatest humanitarian crisis in the world is in the Congo, not the West Bank. I said the greatest humanitarian crisis in the world is in the Congo, not the West Bank, not the Gaza Strip, not Israel, but in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So don't tell me I got to cry for whites and browns. I'm crying for black people, and I don't care who don't like it. I don't care who don't like it. The mother continent, I'm focusing on my people. This is Pan-Africanism or perish. You understand me? This is unify or die. They don't care about us. You got black people in Palestine facing racism. You better go do your research. What about our African brothers and sisters in Palestine who are suffering racism at the hands of the Palestinian Arabs? Y'all ain't said nothing about that. Oh, no. Oh, no. You come to the wrong place for that. And see what we fail to realize as African people. What we fail to realize as African people is when you start paying attention to other people's struggle, you give the whole world permission to ignore your problems. When you start worrying about other people's problems, you give the whole world permission to ignore your problems. I said, when you start worrying about other people's problems, you give the world permission to ignore your problems. I don't see Jews taking attention off their problems for black people. I don't see Arabs taking attention off their problems for black people. I don't see Latinos taking attention off their problems for black people. I don't see Asians taking attention off their problems for black people. I don't see East Indians taking attention off their people for blacks. All the black people sold into slavery by the Arab nations. Has Palestine spoke out against that? Has Palestine spoke out against all the Africans in Africa, East Africa, being sold into slavery by the Arabs? I ain't heard no Palestinian say nothing about the Arab slave trade against African people. Get out of my face with that. You come to the wrong place. You come to the wrong place.
Here we back. Now, take a look up on the screen. I seen this tweet from this brother that I think really summarizes my thoughts on the situation. He said this: Africans have historically been tormented by two major people: the European and the Arab. They have competed to harm, enslave, and conquer Africa still to this day. While what's happening to Palestinians is unfortunate, so is the plight of Africans in Mauritania, Sudan, Libya, and the Arab world in general. And you can also throw Tunisia in there, because if you've been following the events in the past few months or the past year, then you know it was very hectic for our family in Tunisia. You know, the Arabs in Tunisia had our brothers and sisters and our women and our children running out of Tunisia for their lives, for real. So I know y'all don't care about that, because you didn't make no noise for that. You didn't make any noise for that when it was happening. But now you want to tap dance and twerk and bust it open on a pole for the Arab. But anyways, let's talk about what happened to the family in Tunisia. Take a look up on the screen. Anti-black racism surfaces in an African country. Critics are blaming the president for it. And as you can see, this y'all Arab brother on the screen, you know, your black and brown brother. This your brother right here. You know, the president of Tunisia. That's your brother. That's your brother, not my brother, but it's your brother. Your brown brother. Not my brother, not my family, but your brother. Anyway, let's continue. A viral video from late February showed a man decrying the incompatibility of black African values with those of the Tunisians. Asked by the interviewer if he had ever met any Africans, he replied by saying that he knows them well because my grandfather used to buy and sell them. Late last month, Tunisia's authoritarian President Said, borrowed yet another page from the global neo-fascist playbook and engaged in anti-black racism to unleash a reign of terror. At a February meeting of the National Security Council, he described undocumented black African immigrants as hordes bringing violence and crime to Tunisia. He then went on to embrace the white supremacist Great Replacement conspiracy theory and alleged that immigration from sub-Saharan African countries is aimed at changing Tunisia's demographic composition. The undeclared goal of the waves of illegal immigration is to consider Tunisia a purely African country that has no affiliation to the Arab and Islamic nations, President Said said. Now, time out. The president of Tunisia, which is in Africa, right? It's not in the Middle East, it's in Africa, right? But he's an Arab, keep in mind. So he said that the fact that Tunisia serves as a transit point for Africans to get into Europe, he said that is going to change the demographics of the nation. And he is upset about that because he doesn't want Tunisia to be separated from the Arab and Islamic world. He doesn't want Tunisia to be attached to the African world. And everything he said serves as confirmation to everything I've been saying, because, like I said, you trying to stand in solidarity with the Arab, but the Arab openly proclaims to the world that he does not even want to be associated with you, even on the African continent. So imagine how the Arabs in the Middle East feel. In the homeland, imagine how they feel in the Middle East if the Arabs in Africa don't even want to mess with you, man. Now, let's continue. The president's blatantly racist comments triggered a wave of violence and abuse against thousands of black Africans who reside, study, and work in Tunisia, as well as black Tunisian citizens who make up 10% of the population, bruh. 10%. So just a few months ago, the Arabs in Tunisia was putting foot to ass, making us leave the country, running for our lives, and y'all didn't say a word, man. But now all of a sudden we got to stand in solidarity with the Arabs in the West Bank. We got to stand in solidarity with the Arabs on the Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, the Arabs in the African continent, they feel more of a close connection to the Arabs in the Middle East than they do to other Africans on the African continent, even though they're on the African continent. Tunisia is an African country based on the geographical location, but culturally, in terms of mentality, in terms of the cultural values, they don't see themselves as anything similar to the black man. They see the black man as beneath them. They see the black man, they don't want to be associated with the black man, even if they're on the African continent. But for whatever reason, I see so many of y'all are so passionate about the situation happening to the Palestinians. But the same passion is not there for your own folks, man. Your own folks don't get that same energy. They don't get the same clout. It is what it is, though. But let's continue. Many of the estimated 21,000 sub-Saharan African immigrants in Tunisia lost their jobs and housing overnight. Hundreds have been arbitrarily arrested and placed in detention centers. Black people, including those with Tunisian citizenship, said they started facing racial abuse on the streets, fearing for their lives. Dozens of immigrants from sub-Saharan African countries started camping outside the International Organization for Migration headquarters in Tunis, while others tried to protect themselves by seeking refuge in the embassies of their home countries. Bro, they had our people running for their lives, bro, camping outside the embassy so they don't get killed, bro. And let me ask you this. When this was happening, less than a year ago, literally this year, where the fuck was the Palestinian Arab at? The Palestinian Arab, y'all coming into my comment section talking about the Palestinian been standing with us. He been rocking with us. That's our brother right there. That's the homie right there. Where the fuck was the Palestinian Arab when the Tunisian Arab was putting foot to ass? when it was putting foot to ass. I seen videos of black women talking about, man, I gotta leave now. I don't even know where I'm going, but I gotta leave. Where the fuck was the Arab then? Where the fuck was the Palestinian then? Where the fuck was your Palestinian homies at then? Where the fuck was they at? They were nowhere to be found. And you would think, since the Palestinian is our homie, as some of y'all claim that he is, how come he never wanted to play the role of mediator between himself and his other Arab brothers when they do us harm? If that's our homie like that, if that's our friend, if that's our ally, how come he's never there to play mediator or serve as a negotiator when his other Arab brothers start getting out of bounds and getting out of pocket? How come he never stand in solidarity with you? Huh? How come? Ask yourself that question, bro. What is so significant about the Arab that you want to ally with him? What does he offer? Like, what is so amazing about the Arab? Like, what does he offer us as black men? Like I always say, nations are not in the business of doing charity. They're in the business of protecting their interests. So what interest do we have with the Arab? What interest do we share with the Arab? We share none. We share none. And it's not me saying it. The Arab himself, he'll tell you that. The Arab himself will tell you, I have nothing in common with the black man. The black man is beneath me. The black man is destined to be a slave. And his woman is destined to be a concubine. The Arab himself will tell you that to your face. But anyways, man, I don't want to make this video too long. It's your boy Neferkari, that's Salim, back in the building. Yes, indeed. Cash App up on the screen. And I'm gone. Peace.
Reincarnated, I'm back in original fashion. I left on a horse and came back in the ass, and I left with abundance and came back to famine. We used to be pyramids, now we be rapping. Look how the mighty have fallen. Used to be running, now we be walking. When you be cooning, that's when they applauded. Selling your soul, your sons and your daughter. Gotta come up in this shit, they stuck in the mix. Really, my heart it be breaking. That's why I'm stacking that paper and handle my business. Pass it down in generation. Talking about money and power and building a nation. That's a deadly combination. Never be watching the TV, they pushing agendas, falsifying information. Know they got malice intentions. Step in the room and I'm feeling attention. Enemy watching me blocking my vision. Pay for the check cause I need my redemption. Building my kingdom, I need it protected. Ready for war like a young money Congo. Never decided the team is the motto. Up in the crib and I'm whipping up waffles. Up in the crib and I'm smoking gelato. I'm chilling, I'm taking my pain and make it ambition. I'm blessed by the gods, but I ain't religious. I came for the power, they came for the big. They making no hourly wage, I got business. This is an art and they could never be taught. Selling my soul, I can never be bought. Play with my money, I see you in court. Run to the check and I do it for sport. Babylon falling, I go to the source. Packing my luggage and go overseas. Shorty be with me and she so elite. Shorty be chocolate, I'm calling her Hershey. Secret intelligence probably gon' murk me. Don't fuck with brands cause nigga I'm Haitian. Say the wrong shit and you're smacking their faces.